kind of a career talk. He'll tell you about what he has been doing in the music business, making a living out of it, and also a little bit of fun on the piano. So let me just read a brief introduction so you know who this guest artist is. And also, before I forget, please do come to other events that the Orchestra of the Southern Finger Lakes is holding. In a week from Saturday, we have the chorus performing, and there's information about that out in the hallway on a poster, and we have flyers to give out for that as well. So, I'm going to introduce our guest soloist, Bryan Pezzone. Bryan is the consummate crossover pianist excelling in classical, contemporary, jazz, rock, and experimental genres. He is well known for his versatility and virtuosity as a recording and performing artist, improviser, and composer. Bryan has performed as soloist with orchestras across the country. He was the principal pianist with the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra for the first 9 years of that orchestra's existence. He has served on the piano faculty at the California Institute of the Arts and created the multi-focused keyboard program there. He teaches comprehensive improvisation workshops and much more. Bryan is known in the LA area as the primary pianist for film and television soundtrack recordings, contemporary music premieres, and chamber music. With over 600 feature films to his credit, Bryan is the pianist behind Warner Brothers cartoons, Disney movies, Frozen, Jurassic Park, Newsies, Nightmare Before Christmas, Fast and Furious, and Night at the Museum, and so many more. So I'm sure that everyone in this auditorium has heard Bryan play his music on a recording that you've enjoyed. You can actually get the full list of the films that he has recorded at imdb.com and just search on his name, Bryan Pezzone. Bryan is spelled Bryan. So look for your favorite films there, and this is the face behind the piano sounds that you hear on that favorite film. So I want to introduce my good friend Bryan, and probably the most versatile pianist that is alive today. He's going to tell you a little bit about what he does. So let's welcome Bryan Pezzone.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, that's it. First of all, this bag. I'm like Linus from Charlie Brown. This is my blanket. If I don't have that by me, I'm a mess. Hey, it's nice to meet all of you. So we have pianists and singers and musicians. And what's that? Great. It's really nice to be here. Now, Miss Doucette read all of that from me, or Karen. She read that bio. All I wanted to tell you, all the playing with orchestra stuff and recording this and that. I was just a regular kid. I'm a regular guy, and I just really liked playing piano when I was 1.5 years old, because I grew up in a small town in western Pennsylvania, and my great-grandma had a piano at her place. And so my uncle used to walk me down the alley, and I said, wow, this is pretty cool. And he was 5, I was 2. She taught him how to make meatballs, and I spent time playing at the piano. And that's how I got started. It wasn't through any state system or anything like that. There's plenty of great systems. So I think my primary message to you today is going to be natural and immersion and how things come about by just doing things and doing what you love to do and saying yes to things and being flexible and doing it naturally. Because I grew up with, when I grew up, I had a bunch of friends. We played kickball outside, we played sports, I played the piano when I was home. And to me, it was all really natural. It wasn't anything, I took piano lessons, I'll tell you about how that started. But when I first, I'm talking off the top of my head because this is how I do things. I never prepare. I say, I've been preparing all my life to be able to stand in front of a group of people so that I don't have to prepare anything anymore. So everything I say, everything I play is coming right off the top of my head right now. And what that's called, when you talk, and we have conversation with each other, right? And you don't plan everything you're going to say to your friends. You're out there in the playground, you're out there talking in the hallway, whatever comes up. Well, there's a musical name for that too. And that's called improvisation. You probably heard that word, improvising. All improvisation is talking music. And all reading music is like you're reading a book. So that's how I saw it as a young kid. And so when I sat down at the piano as a little kid, 2 years old, I didn't bang on it. I wasn't bad. As a matter of fact, I was sad. I played really lightly on the piano, and I figured out which notes sounded good together, which ones didn't. I figured out what chords sounded good and which ones didn't. So at first I learned how to play by ear, just by doing that and copying pieces that my mom liked. And then I'll tell you one more story before I play something, because I'm going to make something up. When I went to first grade, I would sit in the front of the classroom. I finished my classwork. There was a piano in the back of the classroom. I would just get out of my seat and go and play whatever piano was around. And across the street from my elementary school, there was this Bible study class. I heard all this music coming out and people singing. And I went, well, I can play that stuff. So I went inside as a 6-year-old and I said, can I play the hymns? And I started playing, and this wonderful lady, Mrs. Welker, she played the piano there. She called my dad and she said, Mr. Pezzone, was Pezzone there? Pezzone on the West Coast, because they wanted to, give you the old Italian pronunciation. I think your son has a little bit of talent. I'll give him lessons for $5 a lesson. And so my dad found a friend of his that had an old big piano, and they delivered it. They brought it down on a truck, and they bought that for $25, and they put it in my house where I was living. And that's how I started. So I started on multiple tracks right away. It was really natural to sit at the piano, to just enjoy it and love it. And then I had the nicest teacher to start off with, who just basically showed me, sort of the basics of playing. And then things just proceeded from there very naturally, almost without a plan. It was like, I love music, I'm talented, I know you have to work hard. I worked really hard with all the scales and arpeggios, all my lessons. And then when I wasn't doing that, I was playing with my friends in real garages. So, you got this app called Garage Band. Well, I grew up in real garages with real bands. So Garage Band is called Garage Band for a reason. That's because we would get together inside of each other's garage and play pop music, or we'd get together in the basement. And so if I wasn't doing that, I was practicing Chopin and Mozart. If I wasn't practicing, I was reading through a bunch of music and playing songs off the radio. If I wasn't doing that, I was outside playing football and baseball with my friends. So, this is the piano. You know, when I look at the piano, that's like the other half of me. This is me. I've been with this my whole life. So it's like an appendage, you know? It's an extension of who I am. That's how I feel about it. And when I sit down at the piano, I just feel like I'm at home. So I want to try something here, and I want to show you how improvisation works. And unplanned, just talking about music, and just letting things come out naturally, because I learned the language of music by myself before I could talk. And music is really easy, actually. It just takes a lot of work. But the thinking part of it, the intellectual part of it, is actually not as hard as people make it, and that's a whole other subject. Somebody throw me out like a really simple song or a really simple tune. First thing that comes to your mind. Yay, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Yeah, I like Pink Floyd too. Mary Had a Little Pink Lamb. Okay, look. Since I heard Pink Floyd over here, and I heard Mary Had a Little Lamb over here, what I'm going to do, and because I love doing stuff I've never done before, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make up a little version of Mary Had a Little Lamb, and at some point I'm going to give it a little Pink Floyd treatment. Does that sound good? Yeah. You see, that's why I do this, because it's like the guy doing card tricks. Like, you know, you can't pre-plan this. So I already know how I'm going to make it sound like Pink Floyd. I'm going to put it in minor, and I already know I'm going to make it sound like the regular Merry Little Lamb. I don't want to play for too long. There's times where I can sit down and improvise and talk, improvise for 10, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, but maybe about 5 minutes or something like that. And I'm already thinking about, right now as I talk, I'm also thinking, what key do I want to play that in? Well, I usually play it in C. It would start on the note E. I'm going, well, Pink Floyd, they do a lot of stuff in G minor. So maybe I'll start on B. For Mary Had a Little Lamb, and play in the key of G. And I'm going to play it real simply, and then I'm going to think about, oh boy, if I could tell you what it was like in Mozart's days, because I lived then, and how natural music making was and what they used to do. It was just really common sense. They just hung out with each other, and they improvised for each other, and they played for each other, and they did stuff just like this. So I'm going to put this, let's see, I think there's a button here. I'll turn it off. I'll sit down at the piano and I'll start playing Mary Had a Little Lamb, starting on the note B, and then just kind of going from there. You know, all these musical styles and all these characters, they kind of like to have their say in my head. And so I listen to them. I say, okay, you wait at the doorstep there, and you wait there, I'll get to you eventually. And they line up, and then I finally let them come out. I keep track of which style, which musician, which kind of treatment wants to speak, you know. And I mean, I know it sounds really simple, and if I wanted to, I could put it in I could say these things in really academic terms, but anything that you can say academically and technically, you could also say with plain language, okay? Just remember that. I'll say a few things like that as we go out through the day. This is going to be fun. Mary Had a Little Pink Floyd that's not good. We'll get rid of this. You know, I might, the only reason I keep this on right now is because when I sit and play, sometimes I'll stop and talk about, oh, this is what occurred to me. But I won't do that right now, but I'll just keep it handy, because probably the rest of the time I might just sit here and play and talk from the piano bench, or maybe get up and talk and ask questions. So, Mary Had a Little Lamb in the key of G major, starting on the note B. And I'm going to start out really, really simply. And then I think maybe, you know, I know it might go to The Great Big in the Sky, which is from their best album, which is Dark Side of the Moon. I'm not sure.